there was a small rural church that they were both members of. My grandpa was a deacon. He was a leader in that church. And my grandma was in the church choir and she was a Sunday school teacher. And so when we were up at the farm with them, um, we would go to the church functions with them and we would go to church with them every Sunday morning and we'd be in Sunday school classes with grandma and then we'd go to the service. But to me, looking back, and I have such good memories of this. Looking back now, 50 years later, I guess, we would go to Sunday school, then there would be the church service and grandma would be in the choir and our grandpa was a leader in the church. He was a deacon. But after Sunday school, after the church service, the church had a basement. It was Oakland Lutheran Church out on 545 out near the Ohio Reformatory where they filmed Shawshank Redemption. And in the basement of the church, was this big meeting area with all these tables and there was a huge kitchen and everybody who came to church would bring dishes, and there would be just a huge potluck after every church service. And it was all farmers. It was all farmers. Everybody who went there was all these different farming families who would come, and several of whom we were related to, cousins and things like that, and extended members of my dad's family. And that church experience to me, when I was such a little kid, that church experience to me seemed to really, really emphasize community almost over the religion aspect of it. Nobody in my family on either side was, like a fire breathing evangelical culture warrior kind of thing. But especially on my dad's side of my family with my grandma and grandpa, church was about community. And it was about, once a week, all of these families and all of these farming families got to come together and be together, for 3 or 4 hours every Sunday. And the community aspect of that was very, very, very powerful for me when I was a kid. And I used to I didn't like church. I didn't like going to church. I didn't believe in any of that stuff, even when I was a young kid. But I really used to enjoy going to church on Sunday mornings with grandma and grandpa when we were at the farm, because I knew that kind of potluck community aspect of things was how we were going to end the morning, And it's like we got to see our cousins and we got to see our cousins' friends and so many people from that community. And it really, really meant a lot to me. And I mean, I could go on and on about that stuff, but the community part of things just really, really had a significant impact on me when I was a kid.